Well, g'day, and welcome to my return to casting. But no, I've got a new nick and a new YouTube channel. You'll never track me down. Who am I? Who is this person? Well, who really cares? The point is, Greentooth Gorge, and we have some pretty damn good players here. So let's just quickly check them out. We have GuruSkippy, which is, let's just run that a little bit so we can get a bit of graphics going on. Okay, GuruSkippy, an absolute legend. I saw him completely own in some Gross replays, as well as I watched the entire Gross event live a couple of times, and he is a very, very strong player. I don't think he's particularly known for his Tyranids though, so we'll see how this goes. Tyranids, of course, getting a pretty heavy nerfing in the last 3.18 patch. But yeah, GuruSkippy, very, very, very strong player. He is a pretty straight up player though. He's really into his build orders that just crush. Doesn't seem to do a lot of particularly tricky play from what I remember. It has been a while. I mean, I'm doing these casts as a way to sort of get back into playing the game, sort of just to reacquaint myself with it, also to have some fun. And over here we have Choko Bambus, who, if anyone is able to figure out who I am, will know that I am a huge Choko Bambus fan. Him and maybe the Kalidos Lord are my favourite players. Kalidos Lord obviously because I play Chaos myself, but Choko, I don't think anyone can match Choko's ability to multitask. He is just all over the map, bat capping, controlling, pulling away. He drops like insane grenades. No, we're not going to see that today because he's playing Orc. Well, we might could see some sticks, but really, I mean, he is so fun to watch because he's just all over the place. And which is why his Warp Spider is probably one of the most feared Warp Spiders in the game. So let's get into it. Now, what have we got here? GuruSkippy's obviously he's playing the Hive Tyrant. Just trudge, smash. You know, no one gives a fuck when you're a Hive Tyrant, man. You just walk right through that shit. And, oh, here we go. The shit talk's already starting. Choko Bambus, yeah, Nids are bullshit. Well, he's probably right. And look, there we go. There's the second Termagant brood coming out or getting built right now. So GuruSkippy is going to go for the ranged blob of death, which does synergize very, very well with the Hive Tyrant. He'll get probably a charge, maybe even get that poison raw kind of effect, or get the shield. Either way, you charge in, you disrupt the blob, and then you just absolutely hammer it with the Tormagants and the other range. And of course, these just get more and more powerful, this blob, as the synapses start to stack. And yeah, well, Choko Bambus obviously obviously fearing this, and you know, I don't know, I mean, every single race has been Imba in inverted commas at some point. Every single race. I mean, he's playing Orc. Orc aren't exactly known for being a weak race, and they're an actual quite a blobby race themselves. I mean, 3 shooter boy squads is very, very common. But yeah, he's getting the big shooters in straight away, which is pretty much a standard thing when you're going with. It should be capping with the, yeah, he's back capping with the war boss there. And it looks like the Slugger Boys chased those Termagants in there, and or maybe they were actually the Hermagants. But yeah, at this early stage of the game, the Tyranid really can't face up against these Orcs. This should be the period of the game where Choko really does spread out and consolidates his forces in all different positions on the map, because the big weakness with the Tyranid, you can see the synapse going off from the Hive Tyrant. That's like just the general synapse, which is like a regen, and I think it's like a 20% ranged and melee damage reduction. That war boss is going to have to get the hell out of there. Whoa, and that That's wow, that Hive Tyrant could very well go down here. What's he doing? Going to retreat right through, going to melee mode here, but he might lose his... No, there we go. The shooters easily escape. It's one of the hard things when you're playing Dawn of War, of course, is that the models all scale. So it's very easy to forget that at this early stage of the game they're doing a fraction of the damage that they're going to be doing later on. So while I was panicking that those shooter boys were going to lose their life trying to melee down that Hive Tyrant, they really were in no danger as it turned out. Okay, getting some power going here. He comes out a Warrior Brood. Not sure I agree with that. And Storm Boys. That is an excellent choice from Choko Bambus. Choko Bambus is basically thinking, okay, I mean, we've already seen it here, but we've seen the two Termagants, but he's assuming that there is going to be a huge ranged Tyranid blob, which isn't a very hard assumption, to be honest, and Storm Boys are a great counter to that. Storm Boys will allow him to jump into the blob and really disrupt it, and he actually, except for the Hormigrunt Brood and the Warrior Brood, he doesn't really have a lot of melee to counter those Slugger Boys, Storm Boys, which of course are very powerful. That War Boss is not going to be able to handle. I predict these Storm Boys are going to be a real problem. They're so awesome. Look at that, they're spinning around in circles. They're going to have to retreat the hell out of there. And once again, map control is firmly in Choko's favour. But this, as I was saying, this is the period of the game where Choko really has the advantage and has to push it hard. I mean, Tyranids are definitely very powerful in Tier 1, but the problem with going for the heavy range blob is that it really makes a much weaker Tier 1 for Tyranid, and of course Tyranid Tier 1 has been greatly nerfed as well. So we'll see how this all works out. Here's Storm Boys being reinforced. I predict that to be a key unit. And what we've probably got, okay, let's have a look. We've got Toxin Sacks going up, and we've got the, so the extended carapace, that grants the charge ability. That's what I was talking about before. And there it goes, smash. And this is to disrupt their blobs and allows the Tyranid ranged blob to get into action. But usually you see that partnered with the shield. I mean, he might lose his... he might lose a go with the jump. Ooh. You know, if he jumped those Storm Boys better into the path of that Hive Tyrant, it probably would have gone down. And the entire army is forced to retreat. Here's a bit of a pro tip. Notice that this squad here isn't actually retreating. It's just running backwards with the retreating squads. It's a very common thing. People see a couple of retreat signs and instantly think that's the end of the threat and go back to doing what they're doing. You can often get the jump on people. I mean, look how fast these guys are back out on the field. Okay, still very even in VPs here. And we've got the Rending Talons, which of course gives an extra knockback ability, so he's really going for blob disruption. So he's looking for to really maximize the ability of his range to do lots of damage without any kind of response from the other player. But Choko, if he's got any sense, will be going into Tier 2, which he is now, and getting the Weird Boy. Warp Vomit is an extremely powerful counter, really, the thing is though, the Warrior Brood is a bit of a dead unit for this build that GuruSkippy's going for. I'm not quite sure what's even the point of having these ones. I mean, yes, they do a bit of suppression and hold the units in place for the ranged blob to really attack, but really he would probably have been better off for the overall composition of his ranged blob of death to just have another Terminant Brood and rush to tier 2. Okay, so we've got a 3 power farm, and we've got another 3 power farm here, and some nice capping. We're decapping 3 nodes from Choko. Bit of decapping going up the top, and we've got a Flamer Boy, but a total misclick. They should be doing stop attacks, so they should stop around here and then use their flamers to take out this power node. So there's a bit of a misclick there, and here he goes to do some more uncapping. This is really Choko's absolute what he's known for. Incredibly annoying back capping. He's probably getting a war truck. Yep, there it is right there, and we'll see a lot of back capping with that war truck. Okay, the orcs are just really able to hold off so much damage. There's that poison knockback we saw. Now, I'm not quite sure what the blue circles and the lightning bolts do. I can never remember. All I know is that I usually get the hell out of dodge when I see that. I really should look that up. It's just so hard to find a decent DAO wiki, you know, like there's like awesome DAO 1 wikis that have like pictures of all the different auras and stuff, but nothing like that for DAO 2. And don't say DAO 2 info, that is got a lot of information but extremely hard to navigate compared to most wikis. Okay, so here comes the war truck. Can't tell if there's anyone in it, but most likely there is. Probably those Slugger boys with their flamer. Okay, so there's the barb stingers doing what I think they're designed to do, holding the blobs in place while the range goes into it. But again, I really feel that here we go, Ravener Brood, and this should be a Venom Brood. Okay, so this is looking more like the ranged blob of death, and of course here's the weird boy coming out right now. This is going to be an absolute terror unit. But we should be seeing, there it is, the Devourer, which is the range upgrade. And over here we are seeing the range Synapse. Now range Synapse is like a 35% increased damage to range, along with the general Synapse. You can see it, both of them running now. I mean, that is a scary little blob they got there. And they do still have the Warrior Brood, which should actually be inside the ranged blob and not attacking. So when the Storm Boys or the Storm Boys attack, it should be able to get in and do some... Okay, this war truck is absolutely going to go down here. War trucks are very, very cheap but incredibly weak. Out they get, and he will pop... Yeah, there he goes. He pops one of his abilities. And that'll be enough to send these guys back into retreat. Oh, only 2 models escaping. Meanwhile, there's an absolutely devastating power harass going on up here. There's no way that anyone's going to be able to stop that. The entire Orc army is almost here. And again, that is classic Choko. And there you see the power of the Warp Vomit just coming down, completely disabling the range and stopping that entire blob from defending this power harass. Overextension there with the Ravener Brood. And there we go. Storm Boys doing exactly what they're for, completely destroying that blob. Where was the Hive Tyrant? He's over here doing some capping. And this is one of the great problems with the Tyrannid blob, is that if you don't have the correct unit composition, you are really going to be let down. Whoa! What? Xenotrope. Okay, maybe things have changed, but when I used to play this game like a lot, then I mean this was a terrible unit. These guys are like glass, you know, like 2 hits are going to kill it. They do have a very good healing aura, which you can see running at the moment. But this guy, he should be right up the back here somewhere, completely out of harm's way. He has an incredibly long range, and his aura is also incredibly long. I mean, he should be nowhere near that blob on a completely separate hotkey. Okay, the quicker he gets, there's the warp vomit, again disabling the ranged. And he is... oh, there goes the warp boy. Excellent, that is a great loss for poor old Choko. And this is the ranged blob, almost at its best. I really think that it probably wants 2 Ravener broods and no warriors, but maybe a third Termagant and 2 Raveners to really pull this off. But Weird Boy is being bought again. He is an absolutely vital unit. And by the looks of it, Choko is doing a hard counter build to the ranged blob. We have the Weird Boy. Here comes a really excellent thing. Where's the war truck? He's down here capping. But yeah, this build of Choko's looks like it's specifically designed to disrupt. You should see the scream, poison everybody. And there you can see the barb suppression thing. It's completely useless with that orc ability. Oh, and here we go. Watch this. Let's see. I bet you this guy dies. Look at that. Look how quickly that guy takes damage. Boom. War truck is destroyed, but absolutely classic Choko. He went around here, around the back of the battle, and unloaded, and then was able to get into melee on the entire Tyranid army during its retreat. Absolutely brilliant play. And that's the kind of thing we come to expect. Purchasing another war truck, those things are so cheap, why the hell not? And instantly getting another Zoetrope, that's seems a little off to me. And doing a cooldown at his base, not planning to use and another warrior brood, and not planning to use the knockback. I don't know if I agree with that. The cooldown is an absolutely surefire way to force people off. I mean, it's no Manticore, but it's still totally worth doing during a fight. Yep, you get the hell out of there, war boss. Do you have the improved rocket packs? There's that huge big knob. I love that big knob. But yeah, I tell you, he's really in a good position here, I think. Hive Tyrant still unable to be upgraded. Warp Vomit, again, disabling the range, completely negating that. I just think that this is just a bad build for poor old Guru. Choko has the perfect counter build for the ranged blob, and GuruSkippy doesn't even have the correct, in inverted commas, Tyranid ranged blob build running here. So he's not even a full powered ranged blob. And the problem with that is that I think Choko's build is just going to absolutely crush. Guru really should have seen what was being said at the beginning by Choko. Choko gave away his intentions that he was fearing the range blob, and he just should have gone for something totally different. Again, great play by Choko. See how he's got the split happening, which forces the range blob to split its DPS, which of course is the exact opposite of what it wants to do. And whoa, what are these little Ripper Swarms? I don't think I've ever seen these guys. What? Where the hell are these things? Look at them, they're like cute. The fuck are they? I don't know. But oh yeah, just being thrown off again. These guys might even go down if they've got one more jump in them. They've probably used their jump though. Oh, that Zeratrode's going to go down again. Boom! Wow, they are just so fragile. Yes, they do die very fast, which is why no one ever buys them, in my experience. But, you know, these fun casual games is where you get to experiment with things, especially after the patch. You want to try things out, see how they're going. Still, what else have we got here? We've got the boss pole, which is doing the suppression resistance. Of course, making the warrior broods completely useless. He hasn't upgraded the second one. Let's have another look at these little dudes. They're freaking awesome. I'm sure that's not a unit I've seen before. Weird, there must be a new unit. It looks a little bit like the stuff that falls off the Carnifex. Again, Warp Bonnet negating the ranged pressure. One little lone Venom Brood soldier. Without the Venom Brood being inside the blob with this plus 35% damage, it's just really not working out. You really want to use, I think it's the Ravener hero, the guy who builds the tunnels. That's the hero you want to be using with the ranged blob, because blobbing, you have to blob yourself up for it to get all the self buffs, otherwise it's almost useless. And without the ability of map control that the tunnels give you, it's really hard to be able to fight the enemy as well as doing the capping, especially when you're playing against good old Choko, who is pretty much the master of the multitasking. Using more call-ins and going to tier 3. Not quite sure how far this is going to go. Choko's been doing a really good job at holding off his power farm. Storm Boys are going to get out of there quite easily. And he's doing the same thing. See, the thing is, he's got another Barb Strangler. That just seems wrong to me. I would definitely be trying to transition. It's probably, might be a little bit late. I mean, he did go tier 3. I probably would have stayed in tier 2 and transitioned to heavy melee myself. There's the dead. Oh, he just got revived. Here's this truck just absolutely being painful in the background, doing the back capping. Oop, there goes, beg your pardon, there goes a Termagon Brood. And he's also lost his Hormagaunts. Well, I don't think Choko has lost a single unit, a single squad. his power has been denied for so long. I think going to tier 3 was a real mistake. I mean, there's really no reason for him to do that. I mean, he's saving up pretty slowly, but what's he hoping to achieve? He's not going to have time to get out the big units, especially with all the reinforcing he's going to do. So that was pretty much just wasted. Meanwhile, Choko is just floating a ton of wreck and a ton of power. This game, he knows this game is firmly under control. And here comes a absolute, got the stun going on. Here comes the rocks. Wow. That's got to be it. I think we've got to see a GG any second now. Yeah, and here comes the ridiculous battle wagon even. Still, the victory points have been greatly in favour. Yeah, there's the GG. Quite an interesting game. I really don't think Choko was in had much problem with this game. It didn't seem to be particularly ever in fear of him losing. There was a moment at the start where it was a little bit iffy, but really Choko just built pretty much the build you want to use against the ranged blob. So if you're trying to fight Tyranids and they range blob you and your orcs, use this build. You have the shooter boys, which of course are for big shooters, get some, even do suppression if you need. You have the storm boys, which can jump in, they can disrupt that blob, knock everybody down and give time for you to put the DPS on, because remember the Tyranids aren't very strong individually. And then you got the warp boy, which again completely shuts down the Tyranid range blob with its warp vomit. And I didn't see Zap running, but Zap is also extremely powerful. And then of course you have the war truck with your original Slugger Boy team in it and a flamethrower running around, bat capping, destroying power nodes. I mean, this is pretty much the build to fight the range blooded Tyranid. And here we had GuruSkippy. Now GuruSkippy, it seems to me that his build was just a little off. I mean, he's doing a range blob, but then he's got his 35% increased damage Venom Brood wandering around the map alone, not adding his buff. I just think that he would have been better going for a deeper variety, especially because we knew Choko was going to try and do this build because he was complaining about range blobbing. I would have preferred to see less warriors. I mean, he obviously had to go warriors towards the end because the range blob was just failing so badly, but at the beginning when he was trying to go for that range blob, we should have seen 3rd Terminant Squad, or maybe go straight to tier 2 and go straight into the Venom Brood and the Raveners. I think they're called